Hiya, my name's Claire. I'm a professional poet. I work with the Royal Literary Fund. For the last couple of years, we've been working with different unions, USDOR, Unison Community, and more to set up writing projects in workplaces across the UK. Since COVID, everything we do has moved online for now, which means I'm speaking to you from my house in West Yorkshire. And as you can see, it's getting a bit Christmassy. There's Christmas Kate Bush. Also, because I'm working from home, you will hear things like traffic and neighbours. Hope you can bear with me on that. The reason that we do all of this stuff with writing in workplaces is because we're really passionate about language. Language, speaking for myself, it's my way of connecting with people. It's my way of understanding myself, making sense of myself, communicating that. It's my way of making sense of other people and the world around me, kind of finding a place for myself in that world and putting forward my version of events. Writing, it's the way that we have an impact on the world and shape our lives and have choices and options. So it's a really crucial thing. It's also a nice way to relax and have fun sometimes. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to begin with creating a Christmas present with writing. I mean, how cool is that? Because how much does it cost to write something? It's like a fraction of a penny if we think about ink. We're going to create Christmas gifts. I feel like a Blue Peter presenter, except I have not created one earlier. Everything that I'm going to ask you to do in the coming minutes, I'm going to do at exactly the same time as you. We're going to use an approach called free writing. Free writing, pretty much as it sounds, is just about writing freely. There's a big lorry passing my house. It's about writing freely. It's about not worrying about things like spelling and grammar and punctuation and whether it's any good, whether it makes sense, whether it's daft. It's just keeping your pen on the page, your fingers on the keyboard, and keeping on going anyway. And all that you're going to be asked to do, let me just get my stopwatch, is you're going to be asked to write for 30 seconds about your favourite stuff. You can all do that, I'm sure. 30 seconds. We're going to do that like 6 times. So it means that probably in about 4 minutes' time, you will have written, if you do what you're told, you will have written a poem. And it will be a lovely poem, I promise you. 6 things. We are going to write about weather, going to write about time of day, going to write about colour, tree or flower, place. Okay, I've written a list of 6 favourites there. So for the next 30 seconds, again, I'll just remind you, you mustn't worry about things like spelling and punctuation because nobody really cares. I want you to write down your favourite season and why it's your favourite season. 30 seconds, that's all it's going to take. And then, I know that might feel a bit quick. Remember, you can always hit the pause button. If you find yourself just going, actually, do you know what? All I want to write about today is my favourite season. Stick with it. That's fine too. But I'm going to prompt the rest of us who might want more ideas to write a line about your favourite colour. So name the colour. Be really specific. Not just green, but what particular kind of green. Give me a line about that. Obviously, it doesn't have to be green, be any colour. And then I think I would like your favourite place and a line about it, why it's your favourite. Sorry, just having a little dream then. Okay, we've just got 3 more to go. I would now like your favourite time of the day and why. Then I would like your favourite tree or your favourite flower. You don't have to know the names of them, don't worry about that stuff. If you've got one in mind, just write a line about it. And then the last thing is your favourite song or piece of music. I know it's hard to think of one, but I want the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, that's it. You've done it. So we should have a list of 6 favourite things now. I've got autumn, the sense of the year turning, things starting. Green, hills, all the places I love, trees. I've got Haworth, the steep street in the mist, the wideness of moors. I've got evening, early morning, when the day is all mine and everything's possible. I've got blossom, showy and impossible, hope returning, and I've got Wuthering Heights, all the layers of music, how I felt I could fly. So I kind of find my feet with some of them, a bit less with other suggestions. You'll have your own list. What I want you to think of now is your favourite person. You don't have to write about them. They can stay secret. You don't have to write them down if you don't want to. But you might want to write them at the top of the page as the title. So, it might be your partner, it might be your child, your mum, your grandma, it might be a friend, it might be, maybe you could even write this about your dog. I know we can't, strictly speaking, call them a person, but your dog person. And instead of every example starting with my favourite season is, or my favourite colour is, or my favourite place is, you're now going to change it into you are. And you're just going to tidy up each line so that they read well and make sense. So if there's something a bit distracting in there or something that doesn't quite make sense, now's the time to chuck it out. So for time of the day, I started off with evening and then I went, oh, actually, no, it's early morning. So I'm going to change that now to you are early morning when the day is all mine and everything is possible. Okay, and I'm going to do that to every single line. And I'm going to chop out some stuff that doesn't quite work. So instead of you are autumn, the sense of the year turning, things starting, I'm going to make it you are autumn, the sense of things starting. You are the green of hills, all the places I love. You are Haworth. You're the steep street in the mist. You're the wideness of moors. You are early morning when everything is possible. Your blossom, your hope returning. You are, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go then. You are Wuthering Heights and Kate Bush doing her Christmas dance. So you don't have to use every example. I've just used 5 lines there. And I think I've got me a decent little poem. You are autumn, the sense of things starting. You are green, hills. You are the places I love. You are Haworth. You are a steep street in the mist. You're the wideness of moors. You are early morning. Everything is possible. You are blossom, hope returning. Bingo. There we go. That's Christmas sorted. We're going to do one more thing before you go. I hope all of you ended up there with a little poem. It might be tiny wee. It might be a long one. It might be something that you're going to return to and work on. I have promised, or maybe I haven't, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've promised that we're going to do a Christmas story. One of the things that I've loved about this job is realising that story structures are the same wherever you go. And that might be, going back into history thousands of years, or it might be going into different cultures, or it might be moving from creative writing and life writing into business writing. So whether we're thinking about fairy tales or films, or whether we're thinking about reports and case studies and disciplinaries and all of those dreadful things, they're great, wonderful, useful things. Thinking about the same structure. So what we will have is we'll have a character or characters. They will have aims. There will be an obstacle or many obstacles to them achieving those aims, and they will find helpers or solutions. They'll reach kind of endpoints where there will be learning or gains or losses. Same thing over and over and over. That was a revelation to me. And for me, it's made me feel much more confident about writing and writing stories. It's a bit like having scaffolding. If you're building a house, we need the shape so that we can then fill it in. So we're going to do that, and we're going to use the easiest of structures, and that is beginning, middle, and end. And we're going to write a story in 3 minutes, because we don't want to go on, do we? We don't want to lose the job. We want to leave you with you wanting more. 3 minutes. And one of the things that you might have noticed with that last exercise that we did is that writing works better when we use our senses. The only way that we know the world is through our bodies. It's through our 5 senses. And when we use those 5 senses in our writing, we let people know how we experience the world, and we invite them to experience it in a similar way. I think it's a really generous act, actually, giving people that glimpse into your life. So what we're going to do, we're going to write for a minute about the beginning of a Christmas day, the middle of a Christmas day, and the end of a Christmas day. And you're going to do your utmost to use your 5 senses. If you ever run out of anything to say, just go back to sound, smell, sight, touch. I can never remember what they are. Hearing, know that sound. Whatever the other one is. Taste, that's it. Okay. Where do you even start? Which Christmas day? Go with the first one that comes to mind. So it might be a childhood Christmas. It might be when you were 7. It might be when you were 21. It might be last Christmas. It's impossible to say that phrase without getting a song in your head, isn't it? I'm going to go for I promise you that I am writing on the spot. And I'm going to set my clock. The thing about free writing, even though it's intended to be really easy, is it's quite intense. So for me, it worked quite well to set a stopwatch so that my brain knows I'm not going to overwork it, and then my brain won't refuse. My brain will go, yeah, fair enough, I can do a minute. And we're going to write, so we've all got that Christmas in mind. I got a Christmas in mind. If there's gaps in your memory, just fill them in. God, we're writers. We can do what we want. And you're going to think about the beginning of the day for 1 minute. Write it down. Remember those 5 senses. If you're ever struggling for anything to say, describe a taste, a sound, a smell, a sight, a feeling. Now move to the middle of the day, whenever that is for you. Do the same thing. 5 senses. Okay, and then the end. Move to the end of the day. All right, darkness. The sack beside my bed, the sound of paper, the lumps and corners, the feeling like starlight of something bright and unexploded inside my chest, my mother sleeping next door. Sherry and roast potatoes, the feeling of too much, the Queen's speech, the smell of grandad and tweed, the sound of singing, the washing up. The sadness of another year to wait, the darkness, the sounds in the huge house, the light flickering through the door in the living room, the scorching gas fire on full. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. but I really enjoyed writing it. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. Um, if you want to share your writing with your ULR, if they want to send it directly to us, that would be awesome. As the RLF, we offer a whole range of different writing courses. So it might be from, how to write an email or a report, or a case study that says what you want it to say, how to write clearly, how to feel confident about your spelling and your grammar and your punctuation, up to projects like this that are just about having a bit of time out from your working day and using writing as a way to connect with each other. For me, that's one of the most crucial parts of writing, is feeling connected with other people. When we're distant from people, words give us a way of reaching out and touching each other. So I'm really, really grateful to you today for letting me reach out to you and for being there. I hope that you've enjoyed writing. Cheerio from me and Christmas, Kate Bush.